Hello everyone, my name is Manuel, and today I'll be discussing Project Gutenberg. It can be found at gutenberg.org, spelled Gutenberg. It's named after the inventor Johannes Gutenberg, who invented the moving text printing press. Project Gutenberg got its start in 1971, before personal computers and before the internet. Michael Hart was attending the University of Illinois when he was given an operator's account to the university computer mainframe for unlimited time. Wanting to do something useful with that time, he typed up the Declaration of Independence and uploaded it for other users to download. He is thus credited as the inventor of the ebook. He continued this digitization work with an emphasis on things that don't have any more US copyright, such as the Bible or the Constitution, and Project Gutenberg eventually expanded to what it is today. Hart passed away in 2011, but his legacy continues through this digital library. The mission of this digital library is short and sweet: to encourage the creation and distribution of ebooks. This is reflected in the community that Project Gutenberg attracts. As you can imagine, many users might be interested in the older works that are provided by Project Gutenberg. And conversely, in order to encourage this distribution, users don't have to make an account in order to download the content on this digital library. Project Gutenberg also has plenty of partners and affiliates, such as distributed proofreaders, which helps crowdsource, in a sense, the work of digitizing ebooks. iBiblio, which hosts Project Gutenberg digitally. And there's the Project Gutenberg Consortium Center, which works with Project Gutenberg's legal entity and the World eBook Library to provide self-publishing options. There's also sister projects of Project Gutenberg, since Project Gutenberg only focuses on works without US copyright. So other countries might have works where those might still be covered by their copyright, such as in Australia, Canada, or Germany. Project Gutenberg is also affiliated with the Internet Archive, where they've used it as a long-time backup distribution site, and LibriVox.org, which has a similar concept to Project Gutenberg, but with audiobooks. Another part of the community is the entity that runs Project Gutenberg, the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, which helps run the day-to-day and manages the volunteers that run Project Gutenberg, and they also accept donations through being a nonprofit. And then there's the volunteers that create the ebooks that are submitted to Project Gutenberg. You'll mostly find ebooks on Project Gutenberg, but with a focus on content that's no longer protected by copyright in the United States, there has been a time where they've accepted things like audiobooks and digitized sheet music, but they eventually moved away from this in order to focus on ebooks specifically. However, these works aren't deprecated on the library and can still be found if you know where to look. Volunteers, as I've said before, submit the ebooks, but they're not uploaded automatically. A posting team will review them to make sure they meet the copyright criteria and that they're formatted correctly. And then they'll upload. the works. Speaking of which, here we can find some works here on the front page. You will see the works are organized in this way. Here's the landing page for a work. We can see all the different ways one can access the ebook. You can read it online, HTML. And if I were to click it here, this is what we'll get. A text page. Sometimes there'll be images, sometimes there won't be images, but a big focus on readable text. There's also options to download it as an ebook or as a Kindle. One can see what other readers have downloaded aside of this book. And we also see our bibliographic record here. Part of it is generated automatically when submitted, and part of it is generated by the posting team. From here, users can start browsing, perhaps by author. There's only one work by this author in particular, but you could also go up here and start a book search. And as you see, this menu stays on the page most of the time, except when you're reading on an ebook online. But the quick search is available all times here. It's also available here. We have advanced search here. We have various browsing options here. One can do a full text search using a search engine. There are ways to browse books that are popular, books that have been uploaded. Got some random books. We also have bookshelves, which are curated by volunteers around various topics. We can also see frequently downloaded books. 100 books that have been downloaded yesterday, in the past 7 days, and in the past 30 days. As mentioned earlier, there's no account required to access any of these ebooks. However, they do encourage that users under 13 be accompanied by an adult because they don't shy away from sensitive content, especially with older works. They also stress that the copyright has only expired in the US, and so it might still be active in other countries. And there's also an emphasis on human use. They don't want the efforts of volunteers and the donations used to continue hosting this site to go in vain. So IP addresses are tracked in an effort to track frequent downloads and also to identify bots that might be downloading large amounts of books. Those are blocked, and those are also removed from statistics for downloads and for frequency of downloads. In terms of visuals, this digital library isn't the most glamorous. Many of the links are also to pages that aren't really related to how to navigate. It's mostly about the digital library itself, but not necessarily on how to navigate it. But there's a sense of familiarity and nostalgia in this layout. It doesn't feel like a digital library per se, but just like any regular old website. And so I hope you've learned a bit more about Project Gutenberg, and perhaps you can come on here and find yourself a free ebook to read. Thank you.